Welcome to Season 2 of Conversations That Matter. Starring William Hussey, 365, Dr. Jean Blackman, and Dominique Davis. The place where meaningful dialogue creates change. Sit back, grab a snack, and join us for a conversation that truly matters.
What's up, good people? I'm your main man, William Hussey, 365.
Jean Blackman.
Wendy Armstrong.
That's right. Shout out to my brother Dominique Davis, who could not be here today, but we got the one and only Wendy Love in the building. Shout out to Wendy Armstrong and Pick Me Up Sis. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for filling in the gap and supporting us and supporting your brother Dominique and represent for the women today, because it's a real topic. Doc, how you feeling today, my brother?
Man, I'm maintaining, man. You know, we just put my aunt down, my dad's sister.
Most definitely.
Yeah, man, we cool, man. I'm good.
Yeah, peace and blessings and prayers to the family, man. And you still made it in. I didn't think you was gonna make it. I was like, man,
this is therapy for me, bro.
Word. That's what's up, man. Yeah, cool, man. And I love how you carry yourself through all the trials and tribulations you go through as a man, as a father, as a fiance now, just as a business owner, as a community activist, and you keep pushing through. You know what I'm saying? But I think we forget sometimes you need prayer too, you need help too, you need love too, because we always pulling on you for help, for prayers, for love, for you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's time for us to pour into you and your time of need as well. So I want to make sure that we giving you what you need, which is love, and you know, there for you as well. So
and I appreciate that. Man.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of my other friends, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And family who has been there to support me. Man.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Good, so I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And thank you again for being here. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got about to go ahead and get started. How was y'all week or weekend? How was y'all start with you, Wendy?
My weekend been good.
Good.
I've been resting a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been running some too, but I have been trying to balance and get some rest in. So I'm glad about that.
Good. What's standing out for you this week? That help as far as your weekly schedule? What stood out the most for you this week in a positive way?
The rest.
Okay. Got you. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's what
You know, it's hard for us to get some rest. I'm telling you. It's hard, man. It's hard. How about you, Doc? Even though we know you're going through the hard times, what's some positivity you pulled out?
Man, I really enjoyed the Establishing Safe Cultures workshop.
Oh man, wow! Can I get some excellence on that?
It was super dope, man, and we did the team building activities that Crystal Black from Urban Roots created for us.
Right.
And man, it was so dope.
It was.
And then to have the kids do it, and then to notice how the young ladies, because they wanted to do it themselves, and man, they killed it.
Yeah, man.
Like the ladies killed it. Like they were patient, they were communicating. It was dope. The team building activity was dope because it was like at some point all of us were leaders, and at some point all of us were followers.
Good point.
So we had to communicate, we had to listen, we had to trust, we had to know when to jump in and take the lead, you had to know when to follow. So it's so many things that you learn from that team building activity. It was dope.
Yeah, I like how you broke that down. That was perfectly explained. But we did have a good time, man. Shout out to Brown Recreation Center who hosted that workshop for that weekend. Shout out to everybody that was a part of it, that came out, who's still a part of it, who could make it out. We appreciate it because it takes a village. It takes a village to do what we do, man. Especially dealing with kids in different age groups as well, and seeing the impact from different age groups is amazing. Like everybody is influenced in some kind of way, no matter your age. You know what I'm saying? So even we did the podcast workshop this time for the first time, and it was super dope. But you seen how certain things were interesting to the younger kids that maybe the older kids didn't find too interesting, but they picked up on what they found was interesting. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool to see how they reacted, how they learned, and how we influenced them.
And how they can be creative on the fly.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Like,
y'all had them creating their own podcast.
Yeah, that was dope.
They were definitely like putting it together.
Right.
Man. Like, our kids are really creative.
And they definitely had to come up with the name. They had to come up with the dialogue, the content, even the questions, the guests they wanted to have. They come up with the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? And they had to act it out live. So it was super dope. So yeah. So we're gonna do more of that. I love how that workshop went. And shout out to everybody else. Who else we have that day?
And we had Anique Frederick, who came in and she did art therapy.
Dope.
Had some amazing.
She's the one that had the books.
Yeah, she's the one that had the books. Yeah, so that was super dope. Then of course we had Judy, who came in and did the. She did the financial literacy. And then we had some mothers come in along with Through God to do the real talk. And then we had we actually combined real talk with conflict resolution. So Rafael and Drashanta did their thing, coming in and topping it off.
Dope. Shout out to my brother Rafael, who held it down last week. Shout out to Rafael. What's up, my brother? Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into the topic. Today's topic and conversation is the same. Act like a lady, think like a man. It gained popularity primarily through Steve Harvey's 2009 book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, which was later adapted into a film. The phrase suggests that women should maintain traditional feminine qualities while adapting some traditionally masculine ways of thinking, particularly in terms of assertiveness and strategic thinking. So the historic context of this is the phrase reflects long-standing gender stereotypes where acting like a lady implies being polite, nurturing, and demure, while thinking like a man implies being strategic, assertive, and business-minded. So I'm gonna jump into a little bit more fact checks and a little bit more context when it comes to this saying. But first, let's hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Do we want to play a clip first before we get started?
We can.
Of my brother Dominique. Dominique picked this topic. He came up with this topic, but he couldn't be here today. But we got a clip explaining what was his perspective on acting like a lady, thinking like a man.
People. Sorry I couldn't be there today. I got to work the next 3 Sundays. But I do want to put some input on the conversation for today. And my interpretation of acting like a lady, thinking like a man is more than complex, because you have different kind of men. You got your mama's boy, you got your player, you got the one that's non-committed to anything. So you have to imply those in thinking like a man. They're different hybrids of men, you know. You got your church boy, you got your romantic guy, but all in all, we are simple. You got your protector and provider. That should be by law. That should be by nature. A man should be a protector and a provider. And to act like a woman, no, be a woman, you know. Don't act like a woman, be a woman. And to think like a man, it's an array of thoughts. Just know that we want to be loved. Just know that we can be loved. And at the same time, we're very complex as well, because every man has a little boy in them. I don't give a damn if it's the elder of a church. Every man has a boy in them, and every man wants a mother-like. Most men wants a mother-like figure, if not like their mother, because when we get sick, we want to be nurtured. We're boys, and we're simple, and you can't be us. So don't try to get us back by trying to be a man, but understand how a man thinks. And it's always a hit or miss. And no one's wrong and no one's right. So that's what my interpretation of act like a woman, think like a man. But I would change it and I would say be a woman and consider a man's thoughts and his actions. Hey, it's your boy, Big 22. Y'all have a good episode today, and I love y'all.
My brother Dominique.
All right. So let's jump into it. Doc, what you think about that? I'll start with you first.
Let's go to
Wendy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes real fast.
So let's start off with the ladies. Since it's a topic about the ladies, we don't want to give out misinformation or be leading just from a man's perspective. So you got a point, Doc, and I appreciate that. So how do you feel like that phrase represents women? Do you agree with it? Do you remember even that time when it came out, and how did it make you feel and how it influenced you? So speak a little bit about it.
Yeah. I agree with it in some ways. It just depends on the woman and her maturity. Because when you say act like a woman and think like a man, if you are in a relationship or if you have tried your best to just pay attention to men, you know, and see how they move and see what helps them to be themselves, or if you push their buttons, what makes them mad. At the same time, what makes them feel good. You know, how you talk to them. You can look at a man and see if you are really irritating him. You can pay attention to that and see that. At the same time, you can also see when you're making him mad. So if you pay attention to that and you still gain your feminine energy, in my opinion, just being a woman, you know.
Well, are you less of a woman without the feminine energy? If you bring a lot of what's considered masculine energy, are you less of a woman?
I don't think you're less of a woman. I just think that you won't be able to tap into that man like you need to. Because if you're aggressive and he's aggressive, he's gonna look at you as his equal. That's just my opinion. Because he's gonna feel like he has to defend himself. He's not safe with you if you are being aggressive too. But when you be feminine and you pay attention to him and say, you know what, I didn't know I made you feel that way. You know, help me understand, you know, where you're coming from with that. You know, and when you do that and he's able to open up to you, then he can feel safe with you.
Most definitely.
So that's just my opinion, you know. So act like a woman, think like a man, pay attention to your man. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to him. And the act like a man part is, to me, see how that man is acting, but at the same time, after you paid attention to him, you're able to master to see what it is that nurtures him at that moment. So you're thinking like him, but you're not him.
You got a good perspective, because I didn't even look at it that way at all. I'm looking at it like, far as a woman thinking like a man, how to protect yourself, how to provide for yourself, how to keep rolling through, being resilient through trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in the workplace, you got to think like a man, a hustler, a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even look at it like, think like a man to understand your man. You know what I mean? So that's a great point, because that went over my head.
It still work like that in a workplace.
Yeah.
Because when you pay attention to them men, you're working with them. So when you pay attention to them, at the same time, you know how to handle them, but not being aggressive. A woman can just stay in who she is and get everything she wants.
Right. So
just how you move with that man.
Yeah. So while we right there, what do you think messes that up in our society, in our community, when it comes to that phase of, because some women take advantage of that. They want to act like a man, think like a man, be the man, it's all masculine.
And then be a woman when it's convenient for them to be the woman.
Right. So,
I think, like I said, I think it always still goes back to the maturity of that woman.
That woman, right.
You know, because even in my younger days, my act like a man was, oh, okay. He think he gonna make me break?
Okay.
Oh, it ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Right. Oh, I'm gonna match his energy. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, and I'm just gonna be real with you, when you in a situationships, it's like, no, I'm gonna try to turn him out. You know what I'm saying? Right. Oh, now I'm gonna do this to him, I'm gonna do that to him. Like, I'm not gonna catch emotions. So I'm gonna act like a man in my mind. But at the same time, who is the one that's gonna catch emotions?
But is that really acting like a man?
It like, is, so, you think you can hit,
so why do we automatically throw that characteristic and that behavior into like the men's category, as if women haven't been doing that before, like for hundreds and hundreds of years, like women, thousands of years that women been doing the same thing?
Well, I think the reason why we throw that in that category is because the simple fact of, ideally, it's not for a woman to do, you know. So
no, it's not. Women have been doing it.
They have.
Ideally, it's not for a woman to be exposed doing it, but women have been doing it.
And I know they've been doing it, but at the same time, you're not a man. You're going
See,
to
you keep throwing that characteristic right back into the man category.
Well, okay, let me go from here.
A whore is a whore regardless of the gender.
What?
Are they not?
I can
And
agree
someone who
with
is
this.
someone who is sexually open regardless of their gender.
I can agree and disagree with that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you disagree with it?
Well, I disagree with it because I still feel like hoe is a mindset, in my opinion.
Okay.
When you intentionally just want to go sleep around, just it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna do this with this person, that person, and you in that mindset.
Right.
I think you're just being a hoe, and you don't
Which
mind
is not a
being a
bad
hoe.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. You don't mind. You know what you're doing. You just, hey, I just want to be a hoe right now.
But you got a point when you say the mindset.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the
But
mindset.
what you just said sounds like it doesn't matter which gender it is.
It doesn't matter which gender is, but I still feel like
It's acting like a man.
I
Come
still
on.
feel like it's acting like a man.
Masculine.
Personally,
Oh, you talking about like being the whore part, or that ain't what you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about how we think that we can just go out here and have sex with
Sleeping
people
around
without emotion tied to it. We can't do that. Men
I disagree.
are.
I disagree. There's women out here sleeping with people with absolutely no emotions. Remember we had this conversation once before, and I said, I think some people, whether it's men or women, like they have sex for recreation.
Yeah.
So if they have sex for recreation, their emotions are not attached to that. You know what I mean? And it's a whole community that does that, that feel that way and actually do that, men and women.
And I think what you said to clear it up, you're saying that the trait of sleeping around is not a man's trait. You try to clear it's not gender related.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Just
But
for
we
people
throw it in
just
the
tuning
man's
in.
category because men get props for sleeping around.
Got you. Okay, I see
And
what you're saying.
women don't
They're more
tend to
it's
throw
the
that in that
whore
category
if the girl
right,
do it.
because it's looked at
But the man
negatively
do it.
for women.
Got you.
But if we're really looking at it from from the lens that I'm looking at it from, like we all do it.
Do it, yeah. It's a
Some
mindset.
just don't want to be exposed, and some do.
Got you.
And see, in my opinion, I'm not a man, so therefore I'm just speaking on my opinion of how men are designed.
So you can't be sexually liberated because you're not a man.
Oh, I definitely can be sexual.
Okay. I want you caged up because you feel like I'm not a man. I'm not supposed to be moving like this.
No, what I was saying was, from my observation, men are, they're hunters. At the same time, they're visually appealed by a woman's body shape, which may cause some type of lust, which we lust too, now, don't get it twisted.
Exactly.
But
Okay.
But at the same time, a lot of times men sometimes act on it. They do, more naturally than a woman do. I can be lusting right now, but not right now. Not okay? I'm just giving an example. I could be lusting and still not act on it. But if a man did it, in my opinion, then they wouldn't be looked at like how a woman is. They would be thinking, oh, look at her. She just lust. Oh, and then she wouldn't have sex with her. But if a man did it, it's like, yo, he hit that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We get strikes for it, and y'all get shamed for it.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's why I said we can't act like a man out here.
But you can't let no, but see but I think it's the complete opposite. You can't let society and the constructs of society determine how you move, because it actually puts you in a cage when you do that. So to be free is to not be concerned about how society is going to see you doing the things that you really want to do. I respect somebody who lusts and decides to do something more so than somebody who continues to lust and really want to do something, but worried about what everybody thinks.
And see, I disagree. And I say that because it still goes to the mindset of the person. You know, because the thing is, I'm gonna speak for me.
Yeah.
I still have a standard for myself.
Well, but
So
where did that
therefore,
standard
it's
come
not
from?
even about
How did you develop that standard though? Where did it come from?
for myself,
Yeah, for yourself, where did it come from?
From what I've been through.
Yeah, okay.
You know, hey, I done had situationships in the past.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I know where it leads you.
Right. And
For
you wasn't a hoe.
I'm not
though.
speaking. Oh no, I wasn't
See,
a hoe,
right.
but I
See?
could have been a hoe. You see what I'm saying? I chose not to be. But what I'm saying is, everybody is different. But I know for me having that standard for myself, it keeps me in alignment with what I want in my life. You know, so it still goes along with the mindset. It has nothing to do with what somebody gonna think about me, because I don't care about that. I care to a degree. I care about how I carry myself and all those different things. But just because you want to judge me on what I do, I'm gonna be happy. I don't care what you think about that. If that makes sense.
It
So I
does.
make complete sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank
Come
you for
on,
explaining.
Yeah.
Chewy, you want to elaborate a little bit on from the women's standpoint as well?
Excuse me. So I do agree with the fact that I do feel as though when women swoop around, that is using that masculine energy. Cutting jeans might.
Go ahead, explain
No,
your
but
perspective. Yeah, it's okay.
when I think about act like a lady, think like a man, I think it just more so thinks about using our masculine side of our brains. So there are certain things that women do, and there are certain things that men do, and sometimes we don't do them because it might seem taboo or whatnot. I think that just breaks down a little bit of the gender roles, so it allows us to be more comfortable doing things that might seem as though they're masculine while we're still living in our femininity. Thank you.
That makes sense.
Thank
You want to respond to that before we jump in the comments?
Well, yeah, I want to say, I think this is probably the most harmful thing about our community. And that is we give a blanket statement and blanket expectations for the genders. And we look very little at personalities. And I feel like personalities should take precedence over, the gender. So if I'm a feminine man, that's okay. That's my personality. I'm going to do feminine things. I probably need to connect with someone who is opposite, who will give me balance, who is not feminine. I may need a more masculine woman, and we balance each other. If I'm a masculine man, I may need a feminine woman to balance me. But it's nothing wrong with a woman being masculine and a man being feminine. But we try to throw certain expectations on each gender as if that's what they're supposed to do because they are that gender versus their personality and being a certain way based on their personality. If you're not a protective type man, you just not a protective type man.
Trying to be that man.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's not even your personality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
You can't be what you can't be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just be yourself.
And so, I just think sometimes, man, we as society, we throw a little blanket thing out there and we say it's supposed to fit here and it's supposed to fit there. And we look very little at people's personalities and say, okay, well, maybe they fit over there, maybe they fit over there, maybe they fit over there.
Right. I agree with that too. And it goes back with Wendy saying the mindset. It's still personality, mindset, the choices and decisions that one person makes. You know what I mean? But that's crazy you say that because our society has developed this stigma and these stereotypes that we've been running with for so long because we so programmed.
And they keep us from being free. Man.
Yeah. And I agree with what you're saying. And I learned that masculine feminine episode we had when you said, well, what makes her a hoe? And you had to think about dang, because that's what That's what I know. That's what we said. That's what I was around. But you think about it, it's like, well, that doesn't make you a hoe, really. You know what I'm saying? And it's not masculine.
And then who made hoe a bad thing?
Bad thing, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just going a little bit deeper than the average person. That's what, when I look at it from that standpoint, it's like, well, you do got a point. But I'm with that. Personality trumps everything. Mindset trumps everything.
Yeah, and we have to stop doing that, because what happens is, man, we put our sons and daughters in certain situations because we create these expectations, and if they just naturally do not fit in those boxes that we try to put them in, then it creates all kind of social and emotional issues.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, we gotta cut that shit out.
Yeah. Let's jump into the comments, sis.
Before we do that, I do have a question for you guys as well, and it pretty much goes over the topic, which is act like a lady, think like a man. And do you believe that that phrase reinforces traditional gender roles, or does it challenge them?
Say the question one more time.
Do you believe the phrase act like a lady, think like a man reinforces the traditional gender roles, or does it challenge them?
I think it challenges it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it challenges it because you're spending a lot of time trying to see how to act like a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you're mature enough in the mindset to know what the act like a man could be, which is a positive thing, to know your man, you know. But if not, if you are looking at it like, oh, men do this, so I'm gonna act like this, or I'm gonna do that, to make sure you're guarding your emotions, it always goes backwards. You always end up being a person hurt because you're trying to act like something that you're not.
Absolutely.
You're trying to take on, even though we have feminine and masculine energy, but at the same time, when you're paying so much attention that you want to act exactly like him and challenge him, then you end up being the one with the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
And it hurts everybody in the relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now it's competitive. You trying to come at him because he coming at you. You want to be the man and not allow him to be the man in front of the perspective you coming from.
And men are men because they're supposed to be men.
Yeah. Because we're men, right?
Yeah.
Well, we have to have that conversation, like what makes a man a man?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like we don't have to talk about that. What makes a man a man? But to your question, I think the first part of the statement enforces traditional gender roles, which is act like a woman. I think the second part, which is think like a man, challenges it because now you're telling a woman to act like a woman, but not think like a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but to think like a man. So I literally think that you get a challenge and enforcement in that statement.
Absolutely, I can see that both ways. Yeah.
And I agree. I think it's a challenge. I think like how when you said, and for me, I think it's more, you just got to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Even to act like a woman part, even to think like a man part, it's still challenging you to be in your feminine. It's challenging you to be in your masculine, no matter the gender. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a challenge per se, but it goes back to what both of them saying. It's the mindset and the personality of that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I would.
But how do you truly get to be yourself when you're being shaped and molded and controlled by societal standards?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just more being in tune with yourself, knowing who you truly are, finding yourself. It takes time. It's not overnight, you know. And it took me recently in the past few years to find who I really was. You know what I'm saying? When I look back at who I thought I was or who I was becoming, it really wasn't me. And those times I was that person that helped me develop into who I really was. And I found myself, you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times you have to just find yourself, understand who you are, be in tune with yourself and learn yourself, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times you're right. We let society determine who we are. We let the world tell us who we are. We let the white man tell us who we are. We let these jobs tell us who we are, and so on and so on. And we allow women to tell us who we are. So as a man, you have to stand up as a man, like Jenny say, what makes a man a man? You know what I mean? For me, what makes a man is him truly knowing himself, knowing his purpose. Once you come in tune with yourself and your mission and you walking in your purpose and you understand who you really are and where you truly going, I think then you can really give back to others. You can help others. You can provide for your family, so on and so on. But it takes time to even become that. You know what I mean?
So you even did it subconsciously.
I know.
When you said you gotta stand up like a man, as if women don't stand up.
Right. You talking about part the gender?
Yeah. So that's why, like you gotta stand up like we. Like we. because we'll stand up for themselves.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Gotta stand up like Wendy, because Wendy stand up for herself. Gotta stand up like Jean, because Jean stand up for herself. But when you put a woman and a man tag on that, you almost exclude the other gender.
Most definitely. Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. When you look at it from that perspective as well. Jump into the comments.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Doc always go that extra deep. You be like, I thought I had it. Then you be like, I wasn't even thinking that deep, but
Hey,
you're right.
That's why he a doctor.
Go ahead.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Conversations That Matter and for all the comments that we have. Please keep in mind we are open to comments. You can definitely put them in the comments. Thank you.
Talk to us. We also have a live audience.
Yes. All right. They lit in here. Screaming just loud. Okay.
You call them out.
All right. So in the comments we have Burton Arnett Catherine, who says, "Hi family, loving the conversation."
Hey.
What up?
Yes, we also have Magna C. Lade, and they say, generally speaking, men are compartmental thinkers and doers, and women in general are internal linkage thinkers.
I'll let Doc take that one.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh, that's Gene.
Go ahead and finish reading.
Say it again.
Okay, so it was, generally speaking, men are compartmental thinkers and doers, and women in general are internal linkage thinkers.
Does that mean that men are logical thinkers? They know how to think logically and compartmentalize,
Mhm.
and versus
We don't mix everything like women.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like separated.
which we think internally, which is tied into our emotions.
Yes,
I guess that's what they're saying.
I think that's exactly what he was saying.
I think
Good
you hit
job.
that on the head.
Yeah.
I think you did a great job.
She was not compartmentally thinking about that. There you go.
Womp, womp.
Oh, was she? Okay, sorry.
I think that's true because we've been shaped that way. I'm not sure if we're naturally like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I know like we're shaped to not be so emotional about everything and to compartmentalize everything. You know what I mean? Like we're literally taught to do that, like from when we're kids playing sports and the whole nine. You know what I mean? And I think women are shaped to like put everything, mix everything, and if this is not good, then that's not going to be good, type thing. But I don't know if we're naturally like that, though. You know what I mean? Society has put us in that particular place, so they're not wrong, but I just don't feel like it's natural.
Absolutely. Thank you for that information, Dr. Jean. Magnum C. Lade also says, lust is natural. Acting and reacting on lust is based on control and the personal moral standard that one has for themselves. All right.
Okay.
Asher Good says, hey, good people, love y'all.
Hey, what's up?
And Magnum C. Lade cleaned up his previous conversation or comment and said, meaning women link things together, tying into emotions. So exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And those are all our comments.
All right, so let's go back to some historical facts. The book and film. We're going to the book and film now. So the Steve Harvey book in a relationship.
You mean the money maker?
The money maker
for Steve Harvey. So
exactly.
like we're not gonna make these things truths and facts.
Oh no.
This was.
And we don't condone anything in this book. We don't. Yeah, it's not us speaking.
Right.
So Steve Harvey book is a relationship advice guide aimed at women, encouraging them to understand men's perspectives and strategies in dating and relationships. The book was successful and spawned a film adaptation, which further popularized the phrase. Now, the criticism and controversy behind everything has faced criticism for perpetuating gender stereotypes and suggesting that traditionally male behaviors are superior or more effective in certain situations. Critics argue it reinforces outdated notions of gender roles. And that's kind of similar to what you were saying earlier?
Yeah, so I feel like you're different and I'm different. We're both men.
Right.
So how does she, if she's interested in me, but if she if she has known you,
Mhm.
and
Have we dated or
no, she just knows you. You're a male figure in her life, or a man figure in her life.
Mhm.
And so she knows you. So she's using you as that example of a man. And so she's starting to consider your ways and the things that you do, but that's not me. I'm totally different from you.
Right.
So I feel like it shouldn't be act like a lady and think like a man. It should be act like yourself and get to understand Gene if you're trying to date Gene. Understand Will if you're trying to date Will. Understand Wendy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then I think to go a little further on that, if she wanted to date somebody else, it's all targeted to it's all targeted to who you're dating or who you want to be with, I would say.
Which is why it can't be a blanket statement saying men in general.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And even women, like saying act like a woman, with like what type of woman?
Right. And that's what I was gonna say too, if you flipped it, because she was on the other foot. They told us to act like a man but think like a woman.
I'm gonna act like Gene.
But it's just like saying it, right?
And I'm gonna try to learn and consider who I'm
trying to date. Yeah. But I'm saying when you look at it in that perspective, it's plain and clear on what you're trying to say. Because a man won't look at it like think like a woman, act like a man, but think like a woman. It don't even make sense. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not thinking like a woman.
It didn't make sense then, but Steve Harvey played him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you really think about it, it don't make sense. And I tell you, I wouldn't even look at it from your perspective because I haven't read the book. I don't know nobody read it. Did you read the book?
I read it.
Oh, okay. So you know firsthand what he's talking about. Got you.
So that's why I don't see it how y'all see it about the book. Because I personally read the book. And I just feel like it's to each his own who is reading the book. It still goes along with the mindset of the person that chooses to get that book.
Gotcha.
Because if you are either becoming that woman or even if you know who you are as that woman, it's all in how you take the book. So if it's saying act like a woman and you're still becoming a woman, then you might pay attention to who you think a woman is. You might pay attention to, like what you said, mentors or whatever. That's who you want to become like. So you might pay attention to that and say, I'm going to act like this because you don't know who you are yet. You don't know I'm going to act like myself. But this is a person that you feel like, I like the way they are. And I'm going to use you and Gene, for example. You're connected to Gene, but I'm sure there's some things about Gene you like, you know what, I learned that from him. You know what I'm saying? He's a good mentor, So if a woman is paying attention to that, she's going to consider that as a woman. So the book is said for her.
No, go ahead. Do you.
Go ahead.
So the book is saying for her to act like that woman. But me personally, when I read the book, I understood the book, but I still was going to be myself. But I still was able to take some things from that book because I didn't have a father figure in my life. You see what I'm saying? I'm just going to be honest with you. So I paid attention because I have been in situations where I have been taken advantage of. I mean, I'm so sorry, but it's unfortunate, but it's been about me. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to know, how does a man think? I don't have a lot of men around.
You still don't know how a man thinks.
Well,
that book gave you some blanket stuff. But if you were dating Gene, you still wouldn't know how Gene thought.
But see, I'm mature.
That book not gonna tell you how Gene moved.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. But at this age, 45, I'm gonna pay attention to my man. And not to say I'm gonna know how he thinks, but I know how to be me and still see what it is that he needs and try my best to give him what he needs. At the same time, while he's still giving me what I need to. When a 45-year-old woman think like that, I've already been there trying to figure it out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just sharing.
So did you give the book a thumbs up?
I definitely.
So you think it's a recommended read?
Oh yeah.
All right,
It
y'all.
was
Do
for
not
me at that
listen
age.
to anything that Wendy is saying.
It was for me at that age. It worked for me.
For
It
sure.
did. It worked
So
for
what
me.
do you think as far as advice for men in this situation? Because you said I can't think like him, but I can look at myself and see what I can do to help him in ways, right? So if you flip the script and said, you know, I want my man to be better. I'm learning my man, but what can a woman do to help the man in this situation? So to break it down a little bit further, what I'm saying is, if you're trying to think like your man to understand your man, right? But what can your man do for you to help the relationship as well? Because we can't think like a woman. So I'm saying, from a woman's point of view, what's some advice
like
for
a
a man?
woman?
Well,
What's thinking like a woman?
Right, pretty much.
I think
That's what I'm asking from a woman's perspective. I'm trying to figure out from a man, what can we do? Because I can't think like a woman.
I think it's all in communication with that man, you know. But that woman still has to be confident in who she is and have paid attention to that man to know how to talk to him. So therefore, he can give her what she needs. You see what I'm saying? Because when you got a good man in your life and you can communicate with him and he know you and you know him, he gonna know how to treat you. But you're gonna say, baby, I'm gonna be honest with you. Today, I didn't like what you did. Now, of course, I'm not gonna embarrass him in front of everybody. When we get in that car, I'm be like, I didn't like what you did. You know, honestly, that hurt my feelings. You know, and see what he got. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about it? Yeah. And then, you know, he can communicate to me, but he still has that as a mental note. I won't do that to her no more. She told me that hurt her. So it's all in how that woman communicates with her man, in my opinion. He got to feel safe with you from the start. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
He got to, but you got to know who you are and get to know your man.
Yeah, you got to know who you're dating as well. You got something?
I feel you. I feel you. Let's go to comments.
Okay.
Come back to it.
All right. Okay, Corey McCann says, family was good. Miss y'all. Dr. Jean Blackman, prayers and thoughts always to you,
Appreciate
big bro.
Appreciate that.
Yes. Tasha Cruz says, what's up, brothers?
What's up?
Jay Big Train Coltrane says, great
birthday,
conversation,
Coltrane.
family. Great conversation, family. Thank you, Coltrane.
So we say happy birthday, Coach.
Happy birthday,
Oh,
Coltrane. Woo, birthday boy. Corey McCann says, I don't know if this has already been said, but the main reason I've never invested in the Think Like a Man, because there are so many men, me included, who are actually more emotional than logical per se. So thinking like a man is a generalized statement.
Yeah, and it's inaccurate. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. Like, like how people act is based on their individual personalities, not their gender. You know what I mean? And like Corey mentioned, he's very emotional. You know, I know a lot of emotional men. You know, and I even have my emotional moments.
It's
you know
okay
what I'm
to be
saying?
emotional.
Yeah, but if we were breaking down the categories that society says the genders are supposed to be in, like you would see men over here and women over there, and
Separate,
you would see it all mixed.
Gender-based,
Yeah, you would see it mixed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a personality thing, and we try to make, we allow society to make these things a gender thing.
Yeah.
So, and I
agree with that.
And
I know you're gonna disagree.
Yeah, that's fine.
The reason why I say I still disagree, because at the same time, Corey is a man. Period. You know.
So what does that mean?
So if I'm in a relationship with him and I'm reading that book, it's telling me, I'm just using the book.
Book gonna break y'all up. That book gonna break y'all up.
I ain't telling y'all to go buy the book. I'm not telling y'all to go buy the book. I'm telling you what the book did for me that years when it came out. And I decided to read it. You see what I'm saying? I have my own perspective of it.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
So I just want to paint a scenario, and I want your perspective. So who's supposed to be the protector, woman or man?
Who's supposed to be protected?
The protector, or woman or man?
I think they should protect each other, but I do feel like the man is the protector.
Okay.
You know.
So let's say you were in the military, and you learned security, and you learned how to be safe, you learned how to protect, and all of that good stuff. Your man didn't. He lived a, pretty careless life, you know what I mean, for the most part. Didn't really pay attention to things. And he checked a whole lot of other boxes for you, so you want to, continue this relationship with him, but he's just not a natural protector. Do you think he should be the protector in the relationship, or you, who is on point when it comes to protection?
I think I should be the protector, if that's the case.
Now would you look at him as less of a man?
No, he's still a man.
Because he's unable to be the protector on the caliber that you expect.
He's still a man because that's his gender, and that's who he is.
Okay.
So that's why I said it all goes into, it's just my opinion, it all goes into you paying attention to who your man is. When it says act like a man, if I was in a relationship with Corey and I paid attention to who Corey is and that he's emotional and all those different things, then I would cater to, okay, well right there, I'm that man because I know my man.
But you love him, you care for him, you want to be with him, so you're going to nurture that side of it.
Yeah, because he's still a man. It wouldn't matter if it was a relationship with you, Gene, whoever. When you pay attention to your man and know what it takes for him, then that means at this time, I gotta think like how he would.
Right.
I know right now.
But
So
that takes the gender off of it.
Right.
Because you saying the same, y'all saying the same thing to a degree.
I'm still a woman, but I gotta tap into how my man thinks.
Yeah, but you pointed to that person though, so I get that. You know what I mean? Because you're catering to Corey's emotions, his feelings, the way he is. You're not comparing him to what society is saying a man should be. And I think that's why I say y'all both really saying the same thing, but just in y'all own perspective.
And then what if a woman is dating a woman?
Oh, you got a point.
You know,
think like a woman, act like
does that book help them out?
Help us out.
What if a man is dating a woman? Does that book help them out? That's why I said, like, it's really about you being yourself in a relationship, and then you're understanding that person that you're trying to date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with both y'all. If you take the gender out of it and you just look at the person, you know what I'm saying? It's directed to that person. So no matter who you date, you're trying to please and be there and benefit the relationship with that person. So I agree with you, but you both said that. Yeah. Because everybody gonna be different that you date. You know what I'm saying? Any comments from the audience?
Man, it's plenty.
Come on now. We've been rolling for almost 45 minutes. Come on. I know somebody got a few words.
Okay, so while they gather their comments, I'm just going to read over these last ones we have on the live. Tasha Cruz says the book is a thumbs up. She also says, what's thinking like a woman?
I want to hear some women with a man say that book was all good. I'm just going to talk.
That was
No. You know we love you.
Magna Silade says, thumbs up, the book shares a general perspective.
No doubt.
Corey McCann says, Dr. Blackman, I'm in total agreement with you, big bro. People should think like themselves. Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah.
Tasha Cruz says, I think everyone should read the book to understand and share unbiased opinions as well.
I hear you, Tasha.
Magnum C. Lade says, it's not always about knowing the answer. Sometimes it's important to know that you don't know, and be prepared to say, baby, I sense something isn't right. Can you share with me what you're feeling / thinking? Yes, I just want to let y'all know Byron has entered the chat.
Byron, what you got to say? We might need to bring Byron on live.
Pull up, dude.
Byron is here.
Byron got something to say.
Pull up, man. Come drop the mic.
Come on, Byron.
What my brother Byron say?
Byron Gladden says, has it been addressed how Steve Harvey treated his last wife? Hypocrisy 101.
And the other 6.
Ooh.
And y'all taking advice from him. Y'all crazy.
Cottrell Isley says, peace and blessings, great people.
What's up, Cottrell?
What's up, big dog?
Corey McCann says, I've never read the book, but from what I understand, Steve Harvey at certain points actually addresses both men and women. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but Wendy Armstrong just made a valid point. You have to cater to your person and who they are. But I think the book may address good points, but those same points are definitely applicable to everyone.
The
Who
book
was that?
does.
Corey McCann.
Oh, Corey, shout out to Corey. Thank you for sharing.
Tasha Cruz says the book is more so to help women not overplay their roles to men who are not dating for the same reason of commitment. It allows the woman to see the intentions early on. In turn, it's saying that the men he knew or spoke of were not always pursuing the woman for the right reasons or just for instant gratification. The book was a way to protect women from vulture mindset men.
No, first of all, that book was a way of getting money out of people who are vulnerable women. So the same thing that you think he's protecting you from, he's actually doing it himself. But he can't help you. Like, what are the roles of a woman? How is he trying to keep you from doing too much if the expectations are what they are, or they're not what they're not? Like, if you have certain expectations from men and it's a blanket thing, then you're gonna always have a problem. Because once again, you're gonna move differently than me. Like, that's just, it is what it is. And we're both men. So how can Steve Harvey give you advice on Will, Gene, Dominique, you know what I'm saying, Corey, and we're all different? So that's what I'm saying. Like,
as men.
Yeah, like you put in what you feel is safe for you to put in, whether you're dealing with a man, a woman, or whatever. And then when you feel like it's not safe or you're not getting what you need out of a relationship, you pull out. But I just don't believe that, you know, I hear you, Tasha, but I don't believe, you know, how do you overplay a role? Like, what role was given to you? And who was it given to you by? Steve Harvey?
Let's see your response, Tasha. Put it in the comments.
Yes, I just want to finish the rest of her comment. She says, it also coaches the women in a way to know if she is even ready for commitment herself. It's a logical thing. She also says,
yeah, but you're talking about the wrong, the wrong person. All right, Tasha, I'm gonna let you live.
All right. Tasha also says, doing too much for the wrong partner before it is written. I have my own boundaries anyway. I am intentional with personality I'm dealing with. So I do have an excerpt from the book. I would like to read it for you guys, and y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. Bear with me one moment. Thank you for your everybody's comments.
We still waiting on this live audience.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Are you ready? Okay.
You want to read the insert first? You want? However y'all want to do it. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
So back to what you were saying. Well, you had set the scenario where if the woman had went to the military, and I think that no man is incapable of expressing his feelings, and you know, if he can't provide or protect, then he should take that in a relationship.
No, because they reading Steve Harvey's book. If the man says he can't protect, then he's gonna look. No, like, come on, like, imagine how he's gonna be.
He agree with you.
Like, I can see her talking to her girlfriends. Yeah, I can see her talking to her girlfriend. Girl, he told me he can't protect me. Why you with him? How you gonna be with a man that can't protect? Like, no, so a man can't be honest about that. He just have to show up sloppy.
I mean, I do think still that they can voice their opinion, and I don't think that if you're talking to your friends and they're like that, they're kind of closed-minded. You need to know what's right in your relationship, and that at the end of the day, they should still communicate that, because I understand that people lack certain, emotions, that they don't really know how to do certain things, because everybody was raised in a unique way. But at the end of the day, you guys are in a relationship. It's only two of y'all, it's not 1,000. It's just two of y'all.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
Give it up for him. Thank you.
Good job, boo. All right, so thank you, Chastity. All right, so here is I was on mute. So here is the excerpt. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, it says a man fishes for two reasons. He's either sport fishing or fishing to eat, which means he's either going to try to catch the biggest fish he can, take a picture of it, admire it with his buddies, and toss it back to sea, or he's going to take that fish home, scale it, fillet it, toss it in some cornmeal, fry it up, and put it on his plate. This, I think, is a great analogy for how men seek out women.
I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking about 10 women that I know do the same thing. Like they go to the club and spot out cats and do the same thing.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
Oh, this dude look like he got money, yo. He look like yeah.
But wait, you just setting up the analogy. Let's see what the analogy is, okay?
Yeah.
So he says, this, I think, is a great analogy for how men seek out women. See, men are by nature hunters, and women have been put in a position of being the prey. Think about it. It used to be that a man picked a wife, a man asked a woman to dinner, a man had to get permission from a woman's father to have her hand in marriage, and even in some cases to date her. We pursued. In fact, we've been taught all of our lives that it was not only a good thing to chase women, but natural. Women have been brought into this for years. 2, how many times have you or one of your girls said, I like it when a man pursues me, or I need him to romance me and give me flowers and take me and make me feel like I'm wanted? Flowers, jewelry, phone calls, dates, sweet talks. These are all the weapons in our hunting arsenal when we're coming for you. But the question always remains, once we hook you, what will we do with you? Taking a cue from my love.
That same man that got Donald Trump's ear should have got Steve Harvey's as well.
Oh, man.
You want to elaborate on it?
I still think, personally, because like I said, when they first came out, I read that book, and what it did for me at that time, it helped me to understand that you need to know who you are, because when you deciding that you want to get in a relationship with somebody, you don't know what their intention is. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, that person can get you as prey, buy you all this stuff, do all of this. You need to pay attention. Mm-hmm. You need to pay attention because you don't know what people's intentions are.
You gotta protect yourself, I believe. You gotta protect yourself and set your own boundaries.
Yeah, but that's not a gender thing. Like what he's describing is not a gender thing. And I have literally seen women size men up and do the same thing, the exact same thing.
Well, see, for me, I know what gender that I want.
And you have some clients like that. You have some clients like that.
Yeah, but see, at the same time, I'm speaking for me personally.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
When I read the book, I was thinking about a man. I wasn't thinking about a woman. I don't date women. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, and then not only that, I know how I am. Mm-hmm. I know if I'm that type of person that's gonna prey on the man, spit him out, do all of that. So at that time, my mindset wasn't there that I'm trying to look for men as prey. I was trying to figure out at that time, you know what? I need to pay attention to that because I don't know what his intentions are for me.
Did it have you looking at men differently after that part? Like once you read that part, do you feel like men would just want to, get you for sex or just, say just have you as a trophy or just one for the books? Did you feel like men really just came off like that?
Well,
or it's truly good men out there?
It depended on who the man was.
Right.
I was paying attention to his action. Mm-hmm. I was paying attention to how he was handling me. Sometimes I could think back to the book. Sometimes I couldn't. Sometimes I want to spend more time getting to know that man. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it was triggers, in my opinion, to think about that book. If I seen that somebody really and truly didn't have my best intentions, then I say, that's one of the ones that he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? It helped me.
So the book helped you.
It helped me at that time. And then I understand. But I'm just telling you, at that time, as a woman, being transparent, not having male figures in my life, I needed help, and it helped me. And then later, I was able to get to know who I am. I was able to pay attention to see how men really are. Every man is different.
How?
You know what I'm saying?
How are men?
It depends on what man you're talking about.
Exactly.
You got some.
So you really don't know how men really are.
You know.
You,
well,
you just know about the men that
I've
you've encountered. Right. That's the point. Yeah.
Yes.
Men that you've encountered.
Hey guys, we do have a
and then men that I'm around.
Right.
Right.
I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, and I thank you for breaking that down and being so transparent with that, because I didn't look at it from that point either. Because you're saying from a woman's perspective that didn't have a male figure around, you know, that didn't have men that you could go to, that book helped you in that life. You know what I mean? But it didn't help you look down on men.
No.
It just helped you figure out what you wanted to do.
Yes.
And make better decisions from a woman's perspective.
Yeah, because I needed to know that.
Right. Okay. We go to the audience. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Oh no, I'm anonymous.
Let me turn
You're
it on.
anonymous. The mic ain't on.
I'm very anonymous.
All right.
Speaking with lady and gender. To me, society has a lot to deal with, as you say, gender roles, because in gender, it's like the man's supposed to be the protector of the house, the woman's supposed to be the housewife, work, come home, cook, clean for kids. So I also think that that has a lot to do with this, you know, thinking like a woman, act like a man. And then you also have the how you raised, because you have a lot of men that wasn't raised by the father, but the mother raised them. So it's like, you know, that plays a part in it also. Mm-hmm. Just as you have young ladies that wasn't raised with a father in their life. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's just society has a lot to play with all this stuff that we have going on.
Yeah, I think society programmed us.
So do you believe that there are gender roles?
Yes.
Okay.
To a certain extent.
Okay.
Elaborate a little bit. To what extent? Because I feel like everybody can protect. I feel like everybody can provide. I'm talking about from the gender side. Male and women. A woman can protect a man from stuff that a man is not even seeing coming. You know what I mean? From not just physically fighting or harm. You know what I mean? So I think it goes both ways. You know what I mean? In certain perspectives.
I do agree.
Yeah.
But some men can't handle that.
Yeah, that's true.
The woman being the protector.
But the woman taking charge of being a protector, provider.
And some women can't handle having to be the protector.
Yeah, it go both ways. It go both ways.
Yeah, I just think, like, I know what I do. I know what I do as a man, but I'm not mad if another man can't or do not do the things that I do.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't make him less of a man.
Right. You can't compare.
You know what I mean? Because who determines what gender roles are? I think people come together, or people should come together and figure out what their strengths and weaknesses are together, and do what you have to do based on what your strengths and weaknesses are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it should be a blanket, like, expectations for gender.
Oh, no, I definitely agree with that.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
and
I definitely agree.
Like I said, and I still feel like that it's up to that woman, and it's up still to the mindset of the man and the woman, as far as for their relationship, as far as the gender roles.
Which like means up to the woman, what you saying?
It's up to both of them.
Oh, both of them.
That's just like, for instance, I'm gonna use, Gene and I, or you and I, if we, I'm just using it. If we were in a relationship and we live together, I might be a person going out making the money. He might be a person that's better at cooking and cleaning, and the kids and all that stuff. It will work.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
We would have to sit down and talk about that if he was to start feeling a little uncomfortable. Like, you know what? I'm starting to feel like, I feel like I'm at home cooking and cleaning. Sometimes I want to go out and make the money. At first, it started out as my role to make the money, and now we're switching it up. So gender roles can change too. It depends on the individual.
And elaborate off of that, I think, and then sometimes men might want to fill in the gaps and be like, you know what, I don't feel manly enough. I got to be the one to go work and make the money. But then when you go work and make the money, then the wife stays at home, that might not work either. Right. Just because the expectation is there, it's like, oh man, I don't feel manly enough, so I got to go be the provider. But she might be in a position to make more money than you at the time. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So you might just have to play that role. You know what I'm saying? But when she goes home and have to sit with the kids and do the cleaning,
tell her friends though.
Yeah. But if she
If
at home,
she tell her friends she make more than this man, and this man at home, oh man.
Yeah, that's what Chaz was saying. It's the same thing. But another thing, if she's at home and she doesn't like it, you only gonna cause problems too. You look at what I'm saying. Like if she switches up the role, we switch up the roles. I go to work, you stay at home. But you like, this ain't me. I'm not living. I don't want to just sit on. It's not me. But everything's taken care of. How do you work through that? How do you push through that? Because the man still want to be a man, but it's not you to sit at home and be just a housewife. You know what I'm saying? So to take it a step further, that's why I was asking, elaborate a little bit more on it. What if they do switch the roles, they communicate, but if it's not working in that sense, switching the gender roles, like Jean was saying, where do you go from there?
Well, I think it will be up to that woman to figure out another way. If as far as money, if she feels like that's not working for her, then she needs to think about another way to make money still from home. You know what I'm saying? To add to. If she like, this is not working for me, because I feel
like that's a lot that happens in our community. Like when it comes to the feminine being more masculine or trying to act like the man and trying to do this and try to do that as far as providing or taking control in the relationship, it's okay, but for some men they don't mind that. But for some men, it's like, this is not working for me. But you got a lot of women that can't fall back and just stay in the feminine. And I'm not speaking on genders. I'm just saying being in the feminine and just taking care of the kids in the household. They want to be to go out and go get it. And I feel like that's the way the world is now. It's more the women. It's just like the man in the world we live in now. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as easy as it used to be. For the woman to sit home.
Yeah, I
can't
answer that question.
Should a woman be different than a man?
Say it again.
And should a man be different than a woman?
What do you reference?
I mean, just in general, yeah. Like you.
I think that it should be a difference to a degree.
So what do you think the differences should be?
Well, I speak like this. I just feel like the difference between a man and a woman first starts from the mindset. Is both of y'all have said in personality, for one. But men operate different than a woman operates. And I speak from a sexual standpoint, from like a woman being a nurturer, having kids. There's a lot of things that they go through from a physical standpoint that I feel like a man doesn't go through. And that's just my perspective. But that right there is the only thing I feel like separates it. I'm not too in tune with, the mental part of it. But I would say as far as the physical, just the sex part and having the kids and being more emotional and things like that separates the woman from the man. But I feel like they have manly traits. But it's funny because a lot of women want to be in the masculine until it's time to be masculine. And then that's when it's really tested. You know what I'm saying? As far as you can't handle it being in your masculine or a man being in his feminine. Because we hide the feminine side when we want to get emotional, when we want to be vulnerable. But we still have to be in that emotional state, that vulnerable state, because we're human. You know what I'm saying? You got to let it out because we suffer in silence and carry this stuff around. But when we finally talk or let it out or have that woman that we can talk to, it's a great feeling. And I think we need it. Just like you explained earlier, this is therapeutic for you and what you're going through this week. You know what I'm saying? But it's not taking a woman to do it. But I feel like you're expressing yourself. You getting your mind off of it. You know what I'm saying? You tapping into your emotions and moving forward. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it.
Yeah. I know some men that are amazing nurturers. And I know some women who have no nurturing abilities whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like none. And so that's why I'm saying like we really have to be careful at how we try to label and throw these different genders into certain categories versus their personalities in these categories. You know what I mean? If I'm a nurturer, I'm a nurturer regardless of what my gender is. You know what I mean? I just feel a need to nurture, you know what I'm saying, the people that I love. If I'm not, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not a nurturer. Like it's not my personality to be a nurturer.
Right.
And so,
what separates men from women from your perspective? Or you feel like we all the same?
In terms of roles or
just in general?
In general? Well, of course, the anatomy, is different. Of course, women can give birth, men can't.
Do you feel like we think different? Men and women,
No,
or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. It all depends. Like I have a sister that grew up with 5 boys. She got the game we got. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? She got the game we got. So, and then I was raised by 3 women: my mom, my aunt, and my grandmother. So I got the game they got. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just feel like it's an individual thing, and we keep trying to make it a gender thing, and it's an individual thing.
Oh no,
some people have gotten exposed to certain things that other people haven't, and it doesn't matter what their gender is. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely agree with that. Like we said, mindset, personality.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I agree with you. You know.
Yeah. Any last words for the audience?
Nah, they ain't talking about that.
So are y'all still gonna act like a woman and think like a man? That's the question.
I'm thinking like both.
Oh.
Think like yourself. That's the thing. Think like yourself and consider the person you're dating.
But I think, like, if me just saying it now, hearing you say it, I think Wendy has a point too, because everybody's saying the same thing. It's just your perspective of it. Like, you can say, I'm gonna act like a woman and think like a man because that actually helped you. You know what I mean, with what you was going through, because you had a point. I wasn't raised by fathers, just like you. Oh, those my people. Shut out. But you was raised by women. You see what I'm saying? And they still gave you the game.
And I still had men. I still had men present, like coaches.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Father figures, uncles, all of that. So I got it down. You know
so I don't think it really, like y'all both were saying, it doesn't have nothing to do with gender. It's you as a person. You know, and when you're dating, you got to be direct with the person you're dating. You know what I mean? So you got to understand your man, you got to understand your woman. Yes. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's the same perspective both ways. But like we say, act like yourself, think like yourself, and be the best you can be in your relationship. But understand your partner as well.
Definitely.
Any last words, Wendy?
My last words would be, it's your choice if you want to get that book. Your choice.
It's your choice.
Because for some people, you know, with that mindset, the mature mindset, they can read that book and at the same time understand it. So I'm not knocking that book. I understand where Gina's coming from, because he's saying it's generalizing everybody. I get that.
It's generalizing genders.
Well, generalizing genders.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's your choice. You decide to do that.
That's right. What you got, Doc?
And I stand on what I said earlier. I think that it's dangerous and very unsafe for us to have expectations based on genders. I think that you have to get to know people individually, and as you get to know them individually, you determine whether they're a good fit for you.
Yes.
But when you start having those blanket expectations, man, I think you start to misjudge people incorrectly because they don't fit into those expectations. But it's not their personality. You know what I mean? And it's a difference between the personality and expectations based on their gender. You know what I'm saying? So just keep in mind, man, like, know who you are, know what you need, and understand who you're trying to date.
That's it. It's been a word today. Let's jump into these comments, because I just realized we had a few comments that we left off. You want to run through them right quick, and then we close out.
Sure. Chanel Foster says,
Shawnee, what's up?
She says, yes, there are gender roles. Do your 100% in your part. 100%.
What roles belong to men and what roles belong to women? If you believe that, like, call them out. Like call them out. Put them in the group chat. Like, what do you think men are supposed to do?
And can't none of us come up with his answer yet. I've been trying to come up with. You got it? What's the roles different from a man and a woman?
Like I said, I just feel like
like I'm old.
I just feel like it's what works for you.
Yeah.
That's all you can really say.
Which is why we can't make it a blanket. Like, yeah, there are gender roles. Like, so what roles belong to women? What roles belong to men?
Well, there are traditional,
and what society says.
Traditional gender roles, right?
That'll have you by yourself.
But that's the debate. That's what we say at the time we in there. Go ahead with them, sorry.
I still look at it open-mindedly, because at the same time, no matter what we're doing, it's still a man doing this. It's still a woman doing that. It's still a gender role in my household at that time, if we want to call it that. If that man is still being at home, taking care of the kids,
If that
you
fits
go
for
to
you,
transgender roles.
if that fits for y'all, yeah, that's
Yes.
dope. If that fits for y'all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for me to say, okay, my woman has to cook, you know, when I can cook as well.
Because she's the woman.
Because she's the woman, she has to cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like then I think I'm doing her a disservice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I agree
saying?
with
I
you.
agree with that.
Yeah. And so that's,
But if it works for you that she cooks in your household, then cool, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. But what I'm saying is like I can't just automatically give her that responsibility now.
Because she's the woman.
If I personally need a woman that can take on that responsibility, then boom, that's a great fit for me. But I just can't say all women should be cooking for their men.
Right. But if that's your choice, that's your choice.
Yeah,
That's what you said. Yeah, and that's what you're saying too.
we just have to
Yeah.
It's the same thing. What fits for your household, what fits in your relationship.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. It's really not gender based. It's just what works for you. You know what I mean? And I think like they were saying in the fact check was the traditional roles is the debate these days. Things have changed. You know what I'm saying? Men is not obligated to do just this. Women are not just obligated to do this. If I got a woman that pay all the bills, am I wrong for allowing her to pay all the bills?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Traditional,
I'm just saying.
traditional bills was
Yeah, oh, that works.
I mean, traditional way of doing things was very impressive.
Back then.
Yeah. And if we carry it, you know what I'm saying? Like we still kind of pushing that. That's why I say it has to be based on their personality.
Let me ask you a question while you're right there. By being raised by 3 women, how did that affect you growing up or as gender roles? How did you look at that, or that helped you mold into what you are today? And that's why you stand by what you stand by. Like, because I just thought about that when you was talking. I said, well, damn, that's a good point to bring up before we close out, because you didn't know no better. So how did you put all that in perspective, being raised by 3 women? Like, okay, well, damn, they gave me this, but I still need this. Or how do I learn this without this particular person or figure in my life? You know what I mean?
My mom did a great job of giving me balance because it was always coaches and uncles and other male figures in my life as well. So I always got a balance. It was never just heavily one-sided. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So yeah, I always had a
And I know
balance.
you learned to respect the women too.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
come up on them in no kind of way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's something that's always in the man though. I don't
Absolutely.
get, especially growing up, you gonna respect the woman. Versus a man, I think.
But see, that's what I'm saying. See, we still you find a way to just
Slide right back into
bullshit. Like, bro, if you have an issue respecting men, you're gonna have an issue respecting people in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman.
It's respect.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I literally see cats struggle to just be respectful to people.
Right.
You know
In
what I'm
general,
saying?
yeah.
And I see people that can be respectful to people with no problem. And it doesn't matter what the gender is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna respect Wendy because she's Wendy and she's a person, not because she's a woman. I'm gonna respect you the same way I respect her because you're women, you're a person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if it's a father, mother, grandmother, nothing, respect is what you're saying. Well, what I was coming from, what I was
believe it should be that way, and it works that way for me. Now, I also understand that some people give different value levels to different people, different genders, different whatever, different races, whatever the case may be. So they may give an elder more respect than they give somebody that's their peer. They may give, a woman more respect than they would give a man. I try not to work like that because I try to be able to connect with different type people.
Right. Jump into the comments, sis.
All right. One moment, please. So back to our comments. Tasha Cruz says, Jean is right. Women all as well have agendas. Yes, both people should protect each other. Everyone is an individual. Some people, men and women, conform to the social norms. I think the book addresses the social norm, not the individual, but it's a helpful book. As Wendy said, as individuals, you take what may apply to you. As it relates to roles, what I have learned is that the best person should handle what they are gifted in.
Burn the book.
Down goes the book.
Who was that, Tasha?
That was Tasha.
Yeah,
Yes.
Tasha.
That was Tasha. Corey McCann says, I want to write a book on just getting back to love. I just hate that society has inadvertently created a war between men and women.
Absolutely.
He also says, he said, man, let me be clear. If I'm hungry, I'm going to get in the kitchen and cook. I ain't waiting on my woman to cook. And guess who taught me that? My father, who, by the way, was raised in the Deep South in the 50s and 60s. I'm not waiting on a role to feed me, clean my house, or properly raise our children.
Word, I'm with you on that, big dog.
Yes. Corey McCann says, William Hussey, you are speaking good, sir. Tasha Cruz also says, explain how a woman acts like a man. I enjoy every role that I play. I'm both feminine and masculine. I feel balanced. I think sometimes we associate the assertion of authority as masculine and associate a softer approach as feminine. Both are necessary. I cook, clean, build things, nurture, and kick ass if necessary. But I try to keep it cute. LOL.
She does all of those things. So I agree.
You can kick ass and heels now.
Yes, you can.
Wrong with
More effectively, actually. She also says, Jean, you are balanced and have the best of both worlds, it seems. So your approach is objective, and that's great. As you have said, treat people as individuals. Essentially, I like that approach.
All right.
No,
Yes.
that was Tasha too.
That was Tasha as well. Chanel Foster says communication is key regardless of your gender. Tasha Cruz also says, yes, Jean, great ending, and respect is not gender-based.
No, that's a fact.
Yes.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Those are comments.
I've learned today that gender-based is not it. What else he said is not to be blanketed. Was that the word?
Yeah, blanket. Can't put a blanket expectations.
Blanket expectations. So don't allow blanket expectations in your life. Do not be gender-based in your life. Do you be the best you can be? Act like you, think like you, and be a blessing to somebody else.
Yeah, because like seriously, bro, like if you can't shoot a basketball, you know what I'm saying? Like society will have you thinking you fucked up.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So you just
or if you can't rap, or if you can't do this,
yeah, you can't rap or arm wrestle, like so we can't allow, you know what I'm saying, society to
it's a good
continue
conversation.
to do that. Put blanket expectations on gender.
I just feel like it's just my opinion.
No, go ahead.
When you're in your own personal relationship, why are you even thinking about society anyway? You know, it's
because
like I said,
we're set and controlled by society. Period. Like even the way that you think about someone being a hoe, you think of it in a negative way, where somebody who is in a sexually open community would think of it as a beautiful thing and being free. Where did you get that? But where did you get that thought process from?
Well, as I said before, I got it from my own personal experience of trying to act as if that I could have sex and not have emotions tied to it. That's what I got from my own personal experience, but I still chose not to have sex with multiple partners. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't about society. To be honest with you, I feel like in your relationship, this is, why are we even thinking about society? If we have a gender role in our household, that person is still a man. I'm still a woman. It just so happened to be that my man might be the one going out making the money. So at that time, it's a gender role in my household, but it's not about society. Right. It's about what's going on in my household. So if someone was to ask me, well, what do you do in your household? I'm a housewife. I'm just using that as an example. I'm a housewife. My gender is still a woman. So now they can look at it and say, oh, their gender roles, she stay home and he make the money. But at that time, we're still genders. That just works for us. It ain't about what society say. He's still a man, I'm still a woman. And the role in our household is I'm gonna be home and he making the money.
I got you.
That's my opinion.
Yeah,
but where did you get that particular mindset? Which is okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that mindset. I want to be clear. There's nothing wrong with that mindset. But where did it come from?
It will come from my own personal experience. It's not about what society says. If I go along with what society says, I might not be happy.
Yeah, we all gonna be messed up.
Personally, I might not be happy. They say that that's how it's supposed to be, but I'm not paying attention to that. I'm paying attention to what works for me in my house. And my man is still a man. So if we're gonna talk about gender, and we talk about a role that me and him came up with. Not saying me and him are saying we got gender roles in the house. I'm saying if somebody asks me and they say, well, with y'all gender roles, what your husband do? Or what your, oh well, he's the breadwinner. You know what I'm saying? I'm a housewife.
What if he's not?
Oh
What
well,
if he doesn't make as much money as you? Is that an issue with you?
It's not an issue because it's all about what makes both of us happy.
You gonna pop the guns for him? If he's in a dangerous situation, pop, pop, pop.
If it came down to,
We
we're gonna
gotta
take
lead
each
to
other.
That's right.
But that's
Now, we
just,
know
that's
you
just
gonna
my opinion though. I just don't think we should
everybody has their
think
own
about
opinion. We
what
appreciate it.
gender roles is. You should think about what works for you.
That's it at the end of the day. And we thank you, Wendy Love. Give it up for Wendy Love for being our special guest host today. You did an amazing job. And I know Doc gave you a hard time, but we appreciate it. You made it through. You made it through.
Because I can hear the mind.
Everybody can't make it, but you made it through. We appreciate you. We thank you so much. Any other last words or shout outs you want to post anything? Tell us about Pick Me Up Sis podcast.
Oh yes, Pick Me Up Sis. We will be coming back on in August, season 2.
Let's give it up for season 2.
And we have
That's
Patreon.
That's
Very
what's up.
excited about that.
And where can they find you?
Oh, you can find us at Pick Me Up Sis on YouTube and all platforms, and also Patreon.
Right
Shout
out
now.
to y'all. Y'all doing big things. Shout out to Sis.
Oh, and my sister,
Keisha. Shout out to Keisha.
Yes.
Appreciate everything that y'all doing. Shout out and congratulations on season 2. We're proud of you.
Thank
I
you.
just see the progress and how you just growing, and I'm so happy for you. And I'm excited to see what God got planned for both of y'all in season 2. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Definitely thank you for coming and helping us out today. Doc, appreciate you, man. You pushed through, man. It's been a hard week, and you still came, showed up, and showed out as always, man. Thank you for your informal discussion, educating us on we are genderless. We are just,
I ain't saying that. I do believe in genders.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's just when it comes to expectations.
Oh,
yeah.
For sure. Shout out to Troy Monroe, the executive producer of every damn thing that we do. Y'all, shout out to the loudest audience in the city, man. We thank y'all for coming out. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week, same time. I'm your main man, William Hudson 365.
Gene Blackman.
We be Armstrong.
And shout out to my brother, our brother, Dominique Davis, who will not be here today. We'll see y'all next week, and we out. Peace.
All right.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Great stuff.